Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, Bernard Dos, for introducing me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Salamat pagi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is my pleasure to be with you in this important event and to discuss the role of urban-rural linkage toward integrated actions on localization of SDGs and climate goals. So to empower the urban-rural linkage, we need to take some approach. We need to implement some concept that will actually facilitate the urban-rural linkage and that will support the sustainable development goals and climate goals. And IGES Executive Director, Mr. Yasu Takahashi, in the opening session, he kindly shared the concept of the regional circulating and ecological sphere approach to encourage or to enhance the urban-rural partnership to realize the localization of SDG and climate goals. In my presentation, I would like to share some application of this concept to act locally toward the sustainable and resilient development. So, okay, so I think from the presentation of Mr. Takahashi, you already understand what is the regional circular ecological approach or concept is. So basically it framed the, based on the integration of low carbon society, resource circulation, and living in harmony with nature. That means the key component of this approach actually to connect the natural capital at the rural and the produce capital in the urban, to explore the simultaneous solution for economy, for environment, and for society, and maximize the or optimize the sustainable use of regional resources through the strengthening partnership between urban and rural. And what is the scope of this regional CES application? The uniqueness of this concept is actually it is very flexible and it has wider scope depending on the local needs, depending on the local context. It can be designed to solve the local issues through solve the regional issues. These are some of the examples. It can be used to revitalize the local economy. It can be implemented to realize decarbonized society. It can be implemented to manage the natural disaster risk through the ecosystem approaches. And of course, it also can contribute to the post-COVID-19 green recovery and so on. Now, this is actually, I want to show this figure to give an idea that why urban-rural linkage is important and how this CES concept can actually bring the multiple benefits to solve the issues, social issues, environmental issues, and the economic issues in an integrated manner. Mr. Takahashi in his presentation already shared that only 2% of the area is actually accounted by city region, but the demand of natural resources are very high, but they have very limited resources within the city region area. So to deal with these environmental issues or social issues, the city need to actually collaborate with the rural area to capture the optimum use of the regional resources in the urban-rural continuum to address the environmental issues, economic issues, and the social issues. So this is one of the example considering the climate change mitigation options. If you see that there are a lot of climate change mitigation options available in the rural area. On the other hand, city, they are contributing to this climate change through the carbon emissions. But they don't have enough resources to mitigate except the energy efficiency or lifestyle change. But in the rural area, they have a lot of opportunity, like management of the forest that can actually enhance carbon dioxide absorption by forest, capture the renewable energy potential in the rural area that can contribute to the clean energy sources for the urban people, use of blue carbon footprint potential in the rural area, and also agroforestry can be one of the potential area to enhance the decarbonization in the urban and rural continuum. And it can bring social benefit through improving human health at local, at regional level, mitigate effect of various externalities. On the other hand, it can contribute to the revitalization of local economy through creating local jobs, promoting payment for ecosystem services for benefit sharing, and create new business opportunities. And considering the environmental benefit, it can contribute to reduce the emissions, reduce the pollution, and maintain the sequestration capacity of the ecosystem. Ultimately, it can contribute to localization of global goals, through contribute to the net zero commitment, contribute to the various SDGs like SDG 1, SDG 3, 4, 7, 6, 11, 13. Now, I would like to share some of the example in different part of the world already recognize the importance of the urban-rural partnership for achieving SDG as well as climate commitments. Just one of the example I'd like to share here. Some of the examples from the European country, from Barcelona, from Frankfurt, from Frederick Chaban in Denmark. If you see, and also Yokohama in Japan. If you see that all of the cities, all of 4 cities, they actually committed to enhance their capacity of the renewable energy, and some cities, they already set up a target to achieve 100% renewable energy by 2050 in Yokohama, 100% renewable energy by 2030 in Frederick Chaban in Denmark, and Frankfurt also set a target to achieve 100% renewable energy by 2050. What is important and what I would like to highlight here, yes, these cities identified 2 major intervention to achieve this 100% renewable energy. One is the energy saving, that means energy efficiency improvement that can contribute to the 50% of the energy consumption reduction. And for rest of the 50% of the energy will be supplied from the renewable sources. And if you see in case of Frankfurt, it estimated that 25% of the renewable energy can be produced within the city region. But rest of the 25% energy, they need to produce within the region, that means in the rural area. In case of Yokohama, if you see that to achieve the 100% renewable energy by 2050, 4% of the renewable energy can be produced within the city region, and 46% of the renewable energy need to produce outside of the city region. In a later slide, I will show what kind of arrangement Yokohama city consider to achieve this 46% renewable energy production in the outside of the city area, and how it will contribute to the renewable energy, 100% renewable energy target by 2050. And this is one of the approach that actually adopted by the government of Japan in its 5th basic environmental plan in 2018. And as a result, you can see that circulating and ecological sphere approach has been applied in different city regions in Japan to deal with various issues. In some city regions, they utilize or they apply the CS approach for sustainable forest management. In some city regions, they use this approach for renewable energy generation. And in some city region, they consider this as a water quality conservation. And also in some city, they consider it as a way to achieve the net zero. So various actually type of application can be considered for this regional and circulating approach. Now, I would like to share that why Japan government or the local government, they consider this is a appropriate approach to deal with the social, environmental, and economic issues in Japan. If you see what are the issues Japan is facing, one is the depopulation is a big issue, and that lead to the vacant land, increasing vacant land, and also has negative impact to the economy. And what are the actually possible cause of this? What are the effect? One is the declining the working age population. Another is the large volume of the or large number of people migrate outside of the rural area and go to a city area and shrinking sectors. And we need to find the alternative scenarios to actually use the underutilized local resources, how that can be optimum, use optimum way, and that can contribute to address the environmental, social, and economic issues. One of the examples just we mentioned that the vacant land Japan is now facing, increasing vacant land, that can be considered to use for the solar energy generation, and that can be used for the industrial forest and other purposes. And that will actually help to create new job opportunity that can help to contribute in the economic development as well as increase in migrants. And it also will contribute to the environmental commitment by the city regions, that is the net zero or the sustainable development. This is the example I would like to share with you, that how Yokohama city considered to achieve 100% renewable energy by 2050. As I mentioned, that their demand of the energy is 19,000 gigawatt hour. But to achieve this carbon neutrality, they actually can achieve this reduction in the 50% reduction of the energy through the energy efficiency improvement. But for other 50%, they have only actually 8% of the renewable energy generation capacity in the city. So the Yokohama city signed agreement with the 12 local government that is rich with the renewable energy resources and generate the renewable energy in those local government areas, and then they get supplied the renewable energy. So this is the way Yokohama city considered to achieve the 100% renewable energy target by 2050. This is one of the examples, as I mentioned, that this CES approach can be applied for to solve various issues. This is kind of related to climate change adaptation or resilient society related issues. That is, the CES is applied to conserve the water environment in the Kanagawa prefecture. Our institute is located in the Kanagawa prefecture. And in Kanagawa prefecture, there are two major cities, Yokohama city and Kanagawa city, located. And most of the water supply comes from the water catchment area in the upstream, which are basically forest area, and most of the forest area is owned by private owners. That means 70% of the forest area owned by private owners. But forestry become a non-profitable business. So, and also, as I mentioned, that the rural area are facing the depopulation issues, so they have lack of the human resources to manage the forest. That affect the water supply in the urban area in Yokohama and Kanagawa. So as a solution, Kanagawa prefectural government actually come up with a water environment conservation scheme. Under that scheme, that urban people, we provide the water conservation tax, and that money actually used to manage the forest in the rural area, to support the cost for the human resources, to make the forest business profitable. Like that way, urban and rural collaboration is helping to manage the water environment and provide the win-win solution. This is another example how urban and rural collaboration is working in Kitakyushu area to manage the waste issues in that city region. And this actually provide the win-win situation for the farmers in the rural area. They get the organic fertilizer from the urban waste, and on the other hand, urban people get the organic agricultural product supply from the surrounding rural area. So this is another example.
You have 1 minute, Dr. Mitra. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And just I want to share that recently the IPCC 6th assessment report has been opened for the public. If you see that working group 2, this working group 2 chapter on the impact, adaptation, and vulnerability, that also highlighted the importance of the CES approach in this important assessment report. That means this CES approach is getting attention, not only in Japan, but also in the international assessment report. My point is that to bridge the urban-rural linkage, or to realize the urban-rural linkage, we need to take an approach, and CES can be an integrated approach to promote this urban-rural linkage. And therefore, we are working together with our partners in our today's moderator of the opening session, Dr. Andy, also our partner, and he is one of the key members of this consortium. We are working together to promote this concept in South Asia and Southeast Asia. And if you see, we are working in various regions in this Asia and Pacific. And our approach is actually bottom-up approach, closely work with the city government, closely work with the rural government, and bring them in the common platform to co-design the CES in the context of rural issues. And that actually can lead to the policy development in the national level and contribute to the global agendas. And we are, this consortium actually working to help to generate the scientific knowledge to support the policy making. This is one of the example from the Udon Thani. We tried to show that how urban-rural linkage can provide the food security in the Udon Thani region. And we are also closely working with the multi-stakeholders through a platform. As I mentioned, that it is important to have a CES platform. And we are working to establish regional platform in each city region to identify the interdependencies in the urban-rural, and considering that interdependency, what kind of regional CES program need to be developed, and what kind of governance mechanism will be required to apply this CES approach in city regional context. So this is some of the outreach work and communication through various international events to promote this concept. And now you can also find some knowledge material about the concept. And we are now working on a book. After this book release, you will have more information about this concept. We hope that this concept can be integrated in the U20 communique as an approach to strengthen the urban-rural linkage, and which is essential to realize the localization of SDG and localization of climate change mitigation. So that is all of my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mitra. Certainly some few details there and very interesting.